So if you're just joining us, this is actually the second installment of a chapter book called The Best of Iggy. And we're starting this video at chapter 4. So if you have not heard the first installment yet, that's chapters 1 through 3, you're going to want to go back to the channel and find that one. Otherwise, you're not going to know what's happening. Here we go with chapter 4. The same pancake twice. And if you were here for the last one, you'll remember that we were talking about extenuating circumstances. You might have to go back and listen to remember what that is. Chapter 4, the same pancake twice. So remember Iggy and his family were having his mom's friend and her son Jeremy over for brunch. Iggy felt better about Jeremy once he got to the table. He felt better about everything because there was food. Tons of it, all the things he liked, especially a giant pancake his mom only made on special occasions, which Iggy would not have called this. "This is fantastic, Laurel," said Jeremy's mom, munching on her piece of pancake. "Jeremy is loving this pancake." "Thanks, it's called a Dutch baby," said Iggy's mom. "Dutch baby? Dutch baby?" Iggy started to laugh. His mouth was full. You know what happened. Pancake everywhere. By the way, this is not the bad thing that Iggy's going to do. This is not his fault in any way. Come on, Dutch baby? It's just funny. There's a picture of what he's imagining. But when he finally stopped laughing, everyone was looking at him like he was a worm, and not just a worm, but a half-squashed, half-squirming worm. Even Molly, who was all the time yelling and spitting her food out, held up her napkin to make a wall around her plate. "That boy, don't do that," she said, and she pointed at Jeremy. "I think you can be excused, Ig," said Iggy's dad. Iggy looked at his plate. "But I'm not done." If only he had said, "I'm sorry," everything would have turned out differently, but once again, not saying it cannot be called bad. "Oh yeah, you're done, kid," said his dad. "Outside." "Iggy's bad," said Molly, incorrectly. Did Iggy push back his chair, scrape the floor, grab a sausage with his fingers and stomp away, yelling, "Good! I hate brunch anyway"? No, he did not. He only did the sausage part. Out in the backyard, looks like he's laying on the trampoline. Out in the backyard, Iggy may have said, "I hate brunch anyway, and Jeremy Grierson." What a thing he was not supposed to say. Out in the backyard, Iggy may have kicked the picnic table. He may have turned red. He may have thrown a rock or two at the shed. He may have sat down with a thump and eaten his sausage and then wiped his greasy fingers on a chair. But so what? After a while, to keep himself from thinking about Jeremy Grierson eating a pancake, plus the sausages, the cheesy scramble, the tiny muffins, and the strawberries, Iggy took the net off the trampoline. Nets were for babies. And then Iggy lay down in the middle of the trampoline. He looked at the sky. He bounced a few times. If you keep yourself completely straight like a pencil and bounce, it's kind of fun. Not for very long, though. He hadn't even had a bite of his cheesy scramble. Iggy got off the trampoline, found his skateboard, put it on the trampoline, sat on it, and bounced. It was a little more fun, but not much more fun than being a pencil and bouncing. To cheer himself up, Iggy sang a song about pee. He sang it and bounced on his skateboard on the trampoline. "What did you say?" Jeremy Grierson was standing on the back porch. Iggy knew that Jeremy Grierson would never sing a song about pee. Oh no, not him. He played the cello. He played the cello and had such nice manners he was probably going to tell on Iggy. "The thing about pee," sang Iggy. "I'd get killed if I sang that," said Jeremy. This is not true. Jeremy might get a talking to, and possibly reflection time, or maybe a natural consequence, but none of those was even close to being killed. "Oh yeah, my parents don't mind," said Iggy. Also not true. "They let me do what I want." Extremely not true. Jeremy smiled at his "my life is better than yours" smile. "Like the computer?" "Well," Iggy shrugged, yeah, but they're okay with everything else." Jeremy nodded. There was silence. "What are you doing?" he asked. Iggy did not want to say, "I'm bouncing on my skateboard on the trampoline." That sounded stupid, babyish, pathetic. Instead, he said, "I'm pushing the trampoline next to the shed so I can skateboard off the roof and land on it." Jeremy Grierson blinked. "That's insane!" Iggy shrugged again. "It's pretty fun." Well, let's see you do it, said Jeremy. What he meant was this: I don't believe you. Iggy shrugged a third time. Okay. Chapter 5, a short chapter about a short building. This won't take long. I just need to say that the shed was short, not nearly as tall as a house. The highest part of the roof was about 11 feet off the ground. If you can't picture 11 feet, it's about the height of two dads, one standing on the other's shoulders. That's how high the roof was. The roof was also not pointy. It wasn't flat, but it wasn't pointy either. It was a slope. Got it? Good. Now let's get back to business. Chapter 6, the roof. Do I need to tell how Iggy got out the ladder? How he climbed up the ladder to the roof of the shed? How Jeremy climbed halfway up the ladder to pass Iggy his skateboard? How Iggy looked down from the roof of the shed and suddenly noticed that the trampoline was extremely small? And how he said to himself, "This is really gonna hurt"? Do I? I think I can skip that part, because Iggy, good old Iggy, did it anyway. I'm sure you will be glad to learn that Iggy did not get hurt. This is because he did a really important thing with the skateboard as he was flying off the roof. I can't tell you what it was. Why? Because I've signed a contract promising that nothing in this book is dangerous. Every author has to sign this thing, otherwise our books don't get published. Of course, what Iggy did was not dangerous. It would have been dangerous if he hadn't done it. But if you read it and then tried to do it yourself, you would probably do it wrong and your head would go bouncing around the lawn. No, that was a joke. Phew, let's get back to the story. Iggy lay on his back on the trampoline, happy to be alive. Jeremy, who was still halfway up the ladder, was looking down at him with his mouth hanging open. I can't believe you just did that. It was great, said Iggy. This was true, although the greatest part was still being alive. He looked at Jeremy's mouth hanging open face and added, I do it all the time. This was the first actual bad thing Iggy did. First, he was telling a lie since he had never done it before and hoped to never do it again. Lying isn't good, but lying wasn't the very bad part. The very bad part was that Iggy said it to make himself seem cool, and Jeremy seemed not cool. This was not only bad, but it was also mean. Plus, it caused something else to happen. Let me try it, said Jeremy. This was not what Iggy intended. Iggy intended to make Jeremy feel bad, and he wasn't as brave as Iggy. But it was a mean intention. But it wasn't dangerous, head bouncing around the lawn intention. Jeremy skateboarding off the roof onto, if he were lucky, the trampoline. Yeah, he'd never make it. He'd break his bones, he'd never play the cello again, and it would be all Iggy's fault. No, better not, said Iggy. You have that recital. To Iggy's surprise, Jeremy's face got stubborn looking. I don't care. I want to. Iggy thought fast. You can't just do it. You've got to practice. Try jumping off the ladder first. Jeremy's face was still stubborn. But try it, said Iggy. So Jeremy did. Some people might say, oh, that Iggy is a terrible boy. He told Jeremy to jump off a ladder onto a trampoline. But those people would be wrong. Iggy was being a good boy because jumping off a ladder onto a trampoline is a lot better than skateboarding off the roof of a shed onto a trampoline. Also, it was fun. Jeremy had fun jumping from the ladder to the trampoline. Boing, boing, boing. He loved it. You could even say that Iggy had been a good host by suggesting a fun thing for his guests to do. Really, you could say that. After Jeremy had jumped 6 times from the middle rung of the ladder, he climbed up to the top rung. Okay, watch this, he shouted, leaning forward for a dive. The ladder wobbled. Hey, yelled Iggy, don't do that. What? Said Jeremy. He gave Iggy a try to stop me face, and then he dived. And he landed right in the middle of the trampoline, safe and sound. He was laughing when he climbed off. Cool, now I'm going to do that from the roof. No, don't, really, it's super dangerous, said Iggy, grabbing the ladder to get it as far from Jeremy in the shed as possible. Give it, said Jeremy, grabbing it back. He was stronger than Iggy expected. Cellos are heavy. He yanked it out of Iggy's hands. Like you could stop me anyway, Jeremy said. You can't even keep food in your mouth. He set the ladder beside the shed and pretended he was spitting food. It's like you're in preschool or something. Don't jump off the roof, Jeremy, said Iggy, ignoring Jeremy's extreme rudeness and trying to get close enough to pull the ladder away. It's hecka dangerous and you'll break something. He put one hand on the ladder and Jeremy Grierson kicked him. Hey, Iggy fell over, holding his shin. Jeremy made a snort laugh and hurried up the ladder to the roof of the shed. He stood on the edge of the roof and made the food-spitting face again. "Iggy the piggy," he called. Iggy forgot how much his shin hurt. He forgot that and everything else. "Is that your real name, Iggy the piggy?" Iggy was on his feet. "Think you can stop me?" Jeremy gave a giant pig snort. Iggy was tearing up the ladder. "Dream on, Iggy piggy." Iggy was screeching, "You're dead, Jeremy Grierson!" And at that moment, all three parents came outside to see what the boys were doing. Gonna stop there. You'll have to come back again to find out what happens next. Chapter 7 is called What the Parents Saw. Dun, dun, dun! Love you guys. I'll see you soon.